Thanks for tuning in. Another reading from the excerpt stuff of the Modern Day Book by me, or Reverend Susan MeeLing, same thing. So, in reference to my Medal of Honor art project from Washington State, I had picked up in 2014 to 2017 and dropped off from 2015 to 2018 a total of 55 or 56 Medal of Honor recipient art pieces in total, but only found a total of 57 online. And according to the book at Senator Murray's office, there's like 200 Medal of Honor recipients. So there's that. In Oregon, from 2016 to 2017 were the pickups, and the drop-offs were 2017 to 2018, although I might be off on years because I think I got the 2016 Kia Soul in 2015, so that might be what's throwing my years off because of that. In Montana, I picked up Medal of Honor recipients in 2016 and dropped off Medal of Honor recipient artwork in 2017. A total of 20 is what I found online. And in Oregon, I found a total of 17, but I got 16. And then in Idaho, went there for the 2017 for the pickups, and I found a total of 16 Medal of Honor recipients online to drop off in 2018, a total of 16. And so, like, I'm just going to throw this out there. Hot CIA guy would probably be still hot, but hot under the collar and pissed off. And it's not funny because I would never want to see him mad at me. I'm a little weird. I don't want to piss anybody off. That guy, hot CIA. I mean, come on now, CIA. Duh. Or CIA, don't piss off. Then again, don't piss off like a lot of different ... Yeah, like, no. Oh, and I think there were a total of 3 Medal of Honor recipients from Idaho that had the Angel Moroni symbol on it. And, for the Angel Moroni Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints, founded by Reverend Joseph Smith, I put the quote, because I looked online all over to see, like, what I could find. And the only thing I found in common was a quote from Revelations. That's it. Irony. In Utah, that was 2017, which apparently that church. In Salt Lake City, so pretty from the outside. Anyway, found a total of 2 for the entire state, but 4 online. Wyoming pickups were in 2017 as well. Found a total of 6. The drop-offs were in 2018. Colorado State, I did pickups in 2017, dropped off from 2018 to 2019. I found a total of 22. Irony on that. In South Dakota, I did the pickups in 2017. Drop-offs from 2018 to 2019. Found a total of 3. And dropped off a total of 3. North Dakota State pickups I had done in 2017. Drop-offs were 2018 to 2019, a total of 4. And in Iowa, I went to pick up in 2018. I picked up 19 out of 42. And then there were issues with the apartment above me at the Lodge at Madrona apartment complex from the people who were in the apartment N as in November 208, who just continued to be a problem. Like, So real quick, there was this, I mean, biologically he was an adult, but he acted like a little boy, he dressed like a little boy, he talked like a little boy, and when I went to go to the Jehovah Witnesses church on Holly Lake or Holly Court or Holly Lane in Tacoma, there was a night where I got back and I had a rental car. It was a Kona, and as I was going back into my apartment after church services, the boy from N as in November 208 came out of the bushes, and it was at night. And it was like, ooh, all right. And so he was all like, hi. Hi. And he tried like speaking with me, and it was one of those, your female in your apartment has already thrown a temper tantrum, gave a note to the office at the Lodge at Madrona apartment complex. I left a note on there in the color of pink ink, and the letter that they showed me that they got was in black ink. And so I don't know like what that is. That boy completely was like, there are people who understand this. Like, if they're in a relationship, but they don't want to admit that they're in a relationship, and that the boy was like, oh, yeah, like, I don't know what her problem is. And it was one of those, number one, no, to begin with. Number two, not interested, not involved. And number three, I don't think so. Later, there was a situation where they were stomping their feet in the apartment above mine. And they were slamming their cabinet doors, and like I really think that the dog in the apartment that was across the breezeway was like, because when I first moved in, the dog was friendly. It was a little black and white little pug, cute little puppy, and or mix, kind of. And it was a sweet dog, came up, no problem. And then over time, like, it was just skittish. And I think it was because of Ed as in November 208 just constantly yelling, constantly slamming their doors, constantly being a problem. And at one point in time when I was coming back either from services at Temple Beth El in Tacoma or again at the Jehovah Witnesses church, I was coming back, I had a bag, 2 bags, plus my purse. And my bags had a whole bunch of notebooks in them. And I was carrying him down the stairs, but at one point I started to just let him kind of like roll down. And the boy comes out, and he has this Great Dane with him. Like, that's going to save him. And it's like, the dog looks at me and he's like, can you please let me go with you? I don't like them. Please. A cute puppy dog. It was a little Merle color. Little cute puppy. And it's like, no. And so then the guy, or the male boy, he goes back into the apartment, and it's like, what? Do you think I'm gonna babysit your dog? I don't think so. Do you think that, like, because you have a Great Dane that kinda looks like Ganesh, that was a dog I had, that I'm gonna want to be your friend? I don't think so. Because even your dog didn't want to be your friend. And so it's like, okay, whatever. And the boy, he was like, your noises when you walk down the stairs scared the dog. And it's like, if the noises I made when going down the stairs scared the dog would not want to go with me. So, I don't think it takes a head injury to figure that out, boy. Well, then later on, just before leaving, I actually had to go to the emergency room because of how much additional pain I was in because of the stress from N as in November 208, both the male and the female in that apartment. And so I go up the stairs because I'm tired of hearing them slamming their doors. I'm tired of hearing the high-pitched stuff. I'm tired of hearing them just yell and all that sort of stuff. So I go up the stairs and I'm just done. I've already been to the emergency room, been checked out. I had to get a topical cream to help with the muscle pain. And I just, boom. And by the way, if I feel like pain outside of my headaches and migraines, that lets you know how much pain that is in my muscles, like because of that additional unnecessary stress. And I can tell the difference. It is what it is. But anyway, so I go up there and I'm tired of listening to the high-pitched noises. I'm tired of listening to them stomping around. I'm tired of hearing them slamming their doors, their cabinets, all that stuff. So I just bop, 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 bang on the door. And I just take a few steps back because I'm like, I don't want to, I'm angry. I'm in a lot of pain. So let me just lean back. Well, all I hear from the breezeway inside of their apartment, I hear, shh, 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 shh. Be cool, shh, 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 shh. Oh my God, shh, 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 shh. And it's like, really? You've been attempting to get my attention this whole time. Now I'm here. So, stop. You're really getting on my last nerve, period. And as in November 208, I don't care what your names are. I know you're cherubim. The reason why I say that is because when my son, James, had come to the apartment one time, people know what teenagers look like when they're like, and if my son could have shot torpedoes out of his eyeballs at that apartment, like when he was going down the stairs, walking past the end of the November 208 door, it was one of those, ooh, boy, you would have thought he was talking to my biological mother, his grandmother, Anna Hom. I was like, or Anna Louise Lalliam. Anyway, then, because I saw that, and whew, he was pissed to speak with her, that I called her, and whew. Anyway, then the second time, when Will looked at the apartment, he was same daggers and torpedoes and more ammunition, and as he went to go to the apartment to see what was wrong with the apartment stuff. And then there was Scuba Sean when he showed up, and Scuba Sean was he did this when he walked, and it was ooh, what is am I okay? Yeah, okay. I mean, I told that poofy fish not to puncture your hand, but okay. You shouldn't. And every time we walk past that apartment, he just, and it's okay, yes, you are poofy, you irony. And then there was this guy, John, and when he walked by, he was, and it was okay. And then when the Jehovah Witnesses sisters came in and we were talking and doing Bible study, then they were the ones who pointed out that, and as in November 208 was noisy. I just thought it was the sounds of the apartment complex, the building just settling, and didn't realize at that time yet that they were purposefully being noisy. And then the elders from Angel Moroni's church, Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, when the elders came in, the males were just those guys were just your neighbors are so loud. And it was yeah, I guess so. I just thought it was the building. I don't know. So, but yeah, and I don't know what I think it was William who was yeah, they're so, or Stratton, or it might have been both. But either way, they just gurrar at, and it's in November 208. It's oof. But then later, then I, it took a few months before I was okay, yeah, I see what they're talking about, I really. And so then, the banging on the door, they didn't answer, and it's really? Okay. So then I go back down to my apartment, and it's in November 108, irony on that Fiesta San Antonio number, and, so then, I'm in the apartment, I'm trying not to be in as much pain. I had already contacted CID at JBLM at that point. I had already contacted the Tacoma police, and they told me to contact, which I did, the FBI at that point. And then by that point, actually, I had already handwritten letters to the CIA because of my Medal of Honor art project, and then the FBI, both of their headquarters, as well as the one for the FBI in Seattle. And then I had gone to Senator Murray's office and Senator Cantwell's office, and I had written to Governor Inslee, and I had gone to Congressman Smith's office, or Congressman Adam Smith's office, and then Congressman Derek Kilmer's office, and I spoke with Miss Roper. She was really nice. And then I spoke with a few others a few different times, and then letters just like to the, because CID told me to contact the Pentagon, and I was like, hey, I wasn't being rude about my Medal of Honor art project. I was being respectful. I was out of patriotism and because of my love for the country and like appreciation, and it's like a bigger like idea that I had, but and then it just kind of trickled from there. And then it was the White House that I contact with the current president of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. And then the first family of the United States of America, including Miss Melania, because, you know, she's the first wife, or first lady. And then, Vice President Pence and his wife. And then I also contacted the former presidents of the United States of America that are still alive. So that includes former President Barack Obama and Miss Michelle and their children, and former President George W. Bush Jr. and his wife, Miss Laura, and their children. And then the president that I went into the military when he was president, former President Bill Clinton and his wife, Miss Hillary. I know her name is Hillary, but I do call her Hillary. I don't deny it. I have this feeling that she's just like, and it's not in a mean way. It's just one of those like don't piss her off. Like I just have this feeling like just don't piss her off, and you. Anyway, and then the former vice presidents and their spouses and their families, and then the House of Congress and the House of Senate and the Supreme Court and the DOJ and the DOD and just like a whole bunch of government agencies I did. And then businesses and stuff like that. In reference to my Medal of Honor art project because of what happened. And then also religious organizations. I wrote to the Holy Roman Catholic Church and then the Native American Legion stuff, and a lot. And the Reformed Hebrews, and the Scientologists, and a whole bunch because of my Medal of Honor art project. But then I went back upstairs, and because like they wouldn't stop the boy and the girl. I mean, biologically they were adults, but they were acting like stupid children. And I'm not talking about like children like being just children, but they were like acting like stupid, like purposefully dumb type of ways. And so I go up there and I bang on the door and I lean back because I knew that he was actually gonna step forward this time. And so I lean against the railing, and there's about like 5 feet, maybe 5.5 feet between the door and the railing that I'm leaning against. And the boy comes out, he opens the door real fast, and I'm leaning there, and I'm just like, do you mind not stomping around in your apartment, and do you mind not slamming your door? Like, repeatedly. And he's like, what? Took so much to not laugh in his face. And he's just like, what? I'm not allowed to walk in my own apartment. And he's got this, like, camera phone. Like, I mean, I know that there's cameras and phones, but he has the camera specifically facing me from his camera phone in his pocket that he didn't have when he went out of the bushes that night. And I'm just like, yeah, so could you like calm down? And he just, and it's like, uh-huh. This coming from the same boy who told me to be nice to his dog because his dog was scared of the bags that I carried down and up the stairs. Yeah. Not scared. Could you just, keep it down? And then he goes, and it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna not do it. So if you could just calm down and like not be so loud. He just is like, yeah. You have a jean motorcycle, like pretend dress up vest, and that's not a real one. So I'm not scared of you. Like at all. And you're not in the military, and you're not law enforcement, and you're acting like an immature little child, and I didn't give birth to you, so you doing this means nothing to me except for what I need to do to defend myself if you step over that threshold. But I didn't say that in my thoughts at that point. It's like I kind of was hoping, and like I was just like, okay, I should calm down. I'll focus, hopefully calm down. But like in my thoughts, I'm like, I want you to. I wish you would just take that step. Because if you just take one step over that threshold, I wish you would. Because then I could defend myself. Technically. But if he had been stalking me, then I would have had every right to either way. If he had been stalking me, for a while, then by technicalities, just him being there, I technically had the right to defend myself and handle that situation. By technicalities. But that shows my self-control. Like, by so much. Like, so much. So I'm going to get back to reading. So, the ones that I found as far as Medal of Honor recipients, these are the numbers for each state that I found in total online. For Alabama, I found a total of 8. For Alaska, I found a total of 3. For Arizona, I found a total of 11. For Arkansas, I found a total of 4. For California, I found a total of 250. For Colorado, I found a total of 27. For Connecticut, I found a total of 58. For Delaware, I found a total of 9. For Florida, I found a total of 29. For Hawaii, I found I missed Georgia. For Georgia, I found a total of 12. For Hawaii, I found a total of 64. For Idaho, I found a total of 17. For Illinois, I found a total of 250. For Indiana, I found a total of 150. For Iowa, I found a total of 42. For Kansas, I found a total of 43. For Kentucky, I found a total of 13. For Louisiana, I found a total of 4. For Maine, I found a total of 23. For Maryland, I found a total of 200. For Massachusetts, I found a total of 150. For Michigan, I found a total of 76. For Minnesota, I found a total of 34. For Mississippi, I found a total of 12. For Missouri, I found a total of 14. For Montana, I found a total of 20. Ooh. For Nebraska, I found a total of 41. For Nevada, I found a total of 1. For New Hampshire, I found a total of 27. For New Jersey, I found a total of 64. For New Mexico, I found a total of 13. For New York, I found a total of 250. For North Carolina, I found a total of 18. For North Dakota, I found a total of 4. For Ohio, I found a total of 110. For Oklahoma, I found a total of 42. For Oregon, I found a total of 17. For Pennsylvania, I found a total of 250. For Rhode Island, I found a total of 26. For South Carolina, I found a total of 16. For South Dakota, I found a total of 8. For Tennessee, I found a total of 12. For the state of Texas, I found a total of 80. For Utah, I found a total of 4. For Vermont, I found a total of 27. For Virginia, I found a total of 40. For Arlington National Cemetery, I found a total of 800. For Washington State, I found a total of 57. For Washington, D.C., I found a total of 38. For West Virginia, I found a total of 37. For Wisconsin, I found a total of 32. And for Wyoming, I found a total of 7. And that's the total number of names I found. I did not find all of them. So that's the number of Medal of Honor recipients. Names, I found total for how many were buried in each state. And I counted so many times because I know I'm bad with numbers. I counted and I recounted and I counted again. I counted each state for like at least 5 or 6 different times to make sure I got the same number, so that way I did, because I know that I mess up on numbers, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't mess anything up, because I like the Medal of Honor is the tippity top of the medal that you can earn, and I didn't want to mess up on the numbers, and so I counted and I did everything to make sure that I didn't mess up on numbers. So I counted over and over and over again to make sure that I didn't mess up on the numbers of how many Medal of Honor recipients I found. And so I'm gonna end that right there, because I feel like the compassionate, honorable, and righteous ones are really, really mad right now at the cherubim ones. And I know I'm not a cherubim one. I know that. But, it's really warm. And so I counted. And I did everything I could to make sure I found every one of them. I went to multiple websites to make sure that I didn't mess that up. So that way I could make sure I got every name that I could find. And so I'll end this video right now.